Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be talking about improving your presence with social media. The presentation is actually going to be done by Ryan Mabey, my social media manager here at Your Social Strategy. We're hoping it'll be about 30 to 35 minutes, but Ryan has informed me it may go a little longer, but that's okay. Everything is being recorded, so don't feel like you have to take notes. You will get a copy of the presentation tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So all attendees and non-attendees will get a copy 24 hours after we're completed. With that being said, Ryan, go to the next slide, and that'll be a little introduction about myself. I am the owner-operator of YourSocialStrategy.com. I have 29 years of experience in the funeral profession. I was a co-founder of 2 technology companies for funeral service, one called Frontrunner Professional and the other called Funeral Tech. I'm a past board member of the Thousand Islands Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a current member of the Kingston Chamber of Commerce. Ryan's going to also provide you his contact information. I'll go back. Ryan's going to also provide you his contact information, but you can reach me at any time at mike@yoursocialstrategy.com. You can call me at 888-356-0380 extension 101. And you can also mobile text me at 613-328-9422. Text is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me because I have my phone with me at all times, whereas if I'm in a meeting or something, email will have to wait until I get back to my office or whatever the case might be. Now we can go to the next slide, Ryan, and I'll let you take over.
Okay, so thanks, Mike. We just wanted to do a quick rundown. So my next 2 slides, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of exactly what we're going to talk about in this topic today, which is how to improve your presence on a digital platform, specifically within social media, and using some of the benefits that those platforms have to offer. So I just wanted to show a quick example here. This video is basically just going to provide an introduction on why any small business or large business of any kind, depending on your industry, should be benefiting from social media and using advertising tactics. So I'm just going to quickly play this here. Make this full screen for everybody. Okay, thanks everybody for indulging that quick short video there. We just felt like that was important to show from the start, just so you can get some stats on what kind of numbers are on these platforms here. I'm just gonna quick make my screen large again so you guys get the full view. And like Mike mentioned earlier, that video and all these resources are being recorded, so you'll be able to revisit if you're interested in any of those stats. But of course, the stats can always be found through a quick Google search too. But the idea behind that was just to give you an idea of the kinds of numbers, you know, between millions and billions of users on each platform, and kind of giving you an insight onto where those users are most prominently found, whether it's through mobile or desktop or anything like that, so you can better understand your audiences and how to reach them either through organic targeting or through paid advertising. So some of the ideas you should know going into building your social presence. We just gave you a list of 8 things that are some tips that are going to help you improve your content marketing, as well as making sure that you're promoting the material in your business as a whole to the right audience. So of course, this means that you have to understand your audience and where they're located. Whether that means it's between the number of different platforms out there, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, maybe TikTok, as video content is on the rise right now. So it's important to know where those audiences are and making sure you're present on those platforms in order to best reach them. Of course, in building out your content, you want to make sure you're providing the right kind of value to your customers. So for instance, maybe your business is a small baby clothing boutique. Your audience is not likely going to be, you know, males 45 to 65, but would most likely be females 20 to 35 as they enter motherhood. And then so you would want to figure out the kind of value that you want to put into this kind of content and making sure it's relevant to that kind of audience. And it also goes into the next point of visual content. So making sure that, you know, your material that you're promoting on your social platforms represent that kind of audience. So using that demographic in photos or interacting with your products or your business, this is the kind of value that is going to be important to the audience that you are marketing to. When we talk about connecting to niche influencers, we'll touch base a little bit more in depth in our coming slides, but just to kind of give you a quick idea, that video we showed did mention that there are a lot of influencers out there. So for certain businesses, they could utilize this by maybe sending their products as promotional material, and certain people with a high follower count will actually use, interact, and review this kind of product to better illustrate the best use for your products or services, whatever it may be. When we talk about keeping an ear to the ground, again, this just kind of points back to understanding what kinds of trends are out there in the world as far as social media goes. So I mentioned, you know, TikTok is a big thing right now, and we're seeing a lot of other platforms jump on board with that trend by introducing things like Reels or Shorts or any kind of short form video content. The terminology on what the platforms use or call those short form content varies. So YouTube calls them shorts, Instagram calls them reels, but essentially it's all the same thing. And our last few points, obviously creating viral content, not everything can be viral, and viral could be, it's a loose term, meaning that if your target audience is a smaller niche audience, going viral to them could mean reaching a couple hundred people. But if your audience is in the hundreds of thousands, obviously you're going to want to make sure that you're reaching a number close to that in order to consider your content to have gone viral. When we talk about testing your measures, this is making sure that your any kind of campaigns or organic material that you're promoting through your social media is reaching your audiences properly. So when we talk about measuring analytics or insights, which is something we'll go into a little bit further on into the presentation, you want to make sure that those numbers best reflect the data that you're expecting to get from your content marketing materials. So our first thing, we're going back into understanding our audiences. So this is, basically making sure, is your business and your brand being best represented on the right kinds of social platforms? So again, using that example I used earlier of a small baby boutique clothing store, you would want to be utilizing Instagram's e-commerce side of things. This way, your customers, if they see a post that represents one of your products, they're actually able to interact with that post, click on it, and buy it right from Instagram. And you're able to actually connect to your e-commerce website through Instagram. Facebook has a similar thing, but it's important to, again, going back to making sure your audience is represented on the right platforms. One audience that might be on Instagram may not be as prevalent on Facebook. Therefore, you would want to focus your core efforts into marketing your commerce store on Instagram more so than any of the other platforms. But of course, diversifying your brand across all platforms is never a bad idea either. Being able to represent your business to your core audience just means, again, knowing who they are and that your content reflects that, and that the audience is going to be able to relate to your content. And this, means that you're including people, whether it's from different races or genders or anything like that. Whoever you think your audience is, you want to make sure that they're best represented in the visual components that you're presenting through your social platforms. So how do you know if your target audience is present on any of the platforms? So you can use things like understanding the data in the background of your platform. So if you already have business pages established through Facebook or Instagram, you're actually able to go into the back end and analyze your analytics and the different data tools that are available to you. And it'll actually let you know, based on your current following or based on the people that are interacting with your content most, it'll give you insights into their age bracket, demographic, possibly the current geographic of where they're located when they're viewing your content. You could be able to pull other more detailed targeting factors, like possibly where they attended school or where they currently work. While their exact personal information isn't public knowledge, people who interact with different social content do opt in to give those kind of insightful tools to Facebook. So a business's page is able to look at people not on an individual level, but as a group or a whole. So if we're looking at a diverse group of audience through Toronto, you could maybe get a list of different locations where they are and different jobs they do, which could then give you an insight into maybe an estimated salary that these people make, and you can therefore better market your brand and business with that knowledge that you've now gained from these insights that you're able to look into. You can also do other things like email campaigns, maybe surveys. All kinds of different elements are available to you online so that you're able to determine the best course in advertising to your audience rather than just a Facebook user group as a whole. You want to make sure your advertising dollars are going toward the audience that is most likely to make a purchase decision through your business rather than somebody who is less likely to. Moving on to our second point, providing value. So again, we touched based on the different kinds of content, so we can utilize single image stills, which while they're not pushed as highly as video, it doesn't mean they're not still beneficial. So for a lot of real estate businesses, you're still seeing a lot of advertisements out there with still images of home listings or business listings for different sites that are for sale or rent or lease or anything in that realm. But video in combination with still images is the best combination. It just depends on what kind of business you are and what it is you're selling, and making sure that the audience is most likely to interact with one content type over another. So in order to determine what kind of content is best to show for your business, you would then have to go back to our first step, understanding your audience. What kind of content are they most likely to interact with? For instance, if it's a younger generation, we are seeing a lot of those people interact with video and short form video, to be exact, rather than a single type image. So there are other ways we can work around that. And I have some examples that I'll get to a little bit later to show you some different kind of ideas in order to work around the algorithm. So some other types of content beyond just videos, you can consider posting some frequently asked questions about your business, and putting that out in the world. That way you're able to answer a question to your audience before they even have to ask, which could persuade them to look further into your business, maybe visit your website, maybe reach out for a quote, and you can start establishing relationships a little bit quicker that way. Blogs are another useful tool. For us, for instance, we like to use blogs to share what we're doing in the community. Maybe it's a new product that you've introduced to your brand and you want to promote that. Perhaps it's something going on in your community that you want to highlight. There's no real topics that are off course. You just want to make sure that the blog topics are best represented through your business. So for example, a local mechanic may not post about a great sale at a florist shop. The two kinds of things don't really interact with each other. So you just want to make sure that any kind of topics and subjects that you're putting out there are best represented by your brand. You can also show some how-tos, maybe some of the benefits of people using your products in the real world. Again, I keep bringing back that example of earlier with a small children's boutique store. You could show your clientele interacting with your product. Maybe it's a baby stroller and you have a video of people using the product, and then you can then use that content to better reach your audience and show them in real-time use of the product and give them a better idea. So this is something that could go a little bit further than a still image. So some other things are, just different tips. So for instance, this webinar we're doing right now is a product and service that we put out as a digital marketing agency in order to better educate other small businesses that may be struggling with digital marketing, and just to kind of give them an idea of what kinds of things are involved and to be aware of, which is super important, especially since so many online trends seem to be changing so quickly nowadays. You may also want to address any kind of problems your customer may have. So for instance, consider like a scenario where a customer may be struggling and maybe your business is the solution. So in the olden days, this is kind of a funny example, but in the olden days, we saw a lot of this through infomercials, which was a little bit more of a comedic take. But the problem and solution benefactor was still there. So you could still do something like that through your social media. And then lastly, with industry related trends. So again, there's certain businesses that are going to do better with video content rather than other stuff like still images or blogs. Not every business needs all of these things. You just want to figure out what content is best going to represent your brand and making sure you're staying consistent and on brand with that, so that people are never confused about what kind of content they're consuming if they do decide to follow your business pages. So our third point here, visual content makes an impact. So especially if you're on, let's use Facebook and LinkedIn as options, as you're able to actually post just text-based images or a post without any visual. those kinds of content are going to be passed up or not pushed and noticed as far on the social platforms. Like, for instance, Facebook won't push that through their algorithm because they understand that it's not going to get as many views as opposed to a video or bright and visually appealing post might. So, whether that's introducing your website, maybe you want to share a new rebranding of your business, you could post, a bright new logo, and just making sure the captions are also supporting whatever kind of visual content you're putting out there. Of course, it's always going to go back to your target audience. So making sure your images and your videos and any kind of visual content that is backing your brand up is best represented and is going to be, your target audience is going to be able to understand and connect with that the best possible way. So staying on brand using your colors, any fonts that you have, this is where consistency is really important. So branding your images with those things, your logos, your colors, your text, and staying on brand with all that visual content is going to help with brand awareness and making sure people are staying knowledgeable about who you are, what you do, and that your business is always going to remain top of mind with that. So this is just some brief examples of some kind of content that we put out on yoursocialstrategy.com. So we put this content out through Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So we have different things that are pointing towards some helpful tips, maybe signing up for a webinar like you're doing right now. Maybe you came across a post like that we shared out there. We got a post that connects back to our YouTube page where we have like a new video that we want to promote. So there's all kinds of different content, but what you can see visually by immediately looking at these is that our fonts, our colors, and our logos are all prevalent on all of these posts. And while the posts all remain somewhat different, they do have a cohesive connection between the branded appearance, so that when people notice a post by us, they begin to understand that this came from Your Social Strategy, without actually looking into our brand further. So I have a couple more examples on some other content. So these ones here are just still images, but a workaround that we've been experimenting with a little bit recently is introducing any kind of video content or some animations to make our visual components pop a little bit more. So this piece here, we're still getting the same information out there, but the algorithm is going to recognize this as a video post and will therefore actually promote it a little bit further than what a single still image might be. Of course, it's always going to come back to does the content that we're trying to post, is it going to be better represented by a video, or can we push that content out through a single image post, or maybe putting some light animations on. So our next example here, this one here has just a simple animation on there while still getting the message across that we're trying to convey. So just talking to people about different things in order to help them drive their business, whether it's using SEO strategy, pay-per-click ads, keywords on your website, promoted targeting on social media, any kind of tactics like that. And we were able to get that out without using a full video, but we're able to put some fun animations into the components of the visual piece. And therefore the algorithm recognizes it as a sort of video content post, and it'll help that reach our audience a little bit further. And
quick
last
question.
year, yeah, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
What software do we use to create these animated videos?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I should touch on that a little bit. So all the posts that you've actually seen here today, we've made through a helpful tool called Canva. So there is a option to sign up to the platform for free. A lot of the components that we use are in the pro or professional platform that does have a subscription service that you can sign up for. And this is just going to be able to help you unlock more tools and resources in order to best brand your content. So we've been able to implement both video editing, our brand colors, upload personal content. So, this example here is a video from one of our team members, Steph, and she's actually embedded it into a template that was present on Canva, and we were just able to move some of the content around and personalize it so it fits the Kingston WebWorks brand. There's tons of different options, so I definitely encourage anybody that hasn't explored Canva before. It's a very easy platform to learn and use to help keep your branded content organized. And then the second component, we actually use a scheduling program called Loomly. So Canva and Loomly are kind of our two main tools in order to help put our social content out there. And so lastly, as we know, high quality visual content will increase your brand recognition, provide the best value to your target audience, and hopefully this will increase your shares. It will further your brand reach, so you'll be able to grow your audience, hopefully gain some new followers, and of course, increased shares means increased sales. And we talk about increased shares. This is maybe you personally are sharing a post from your business's page onto your personal profile, and this lets all your your personal friends and family know about some content on your business page, and hopefully it will help them encourage them to follow that business page if they aren't already. So our fourth thing here, as I mentioned earlier, is with the influencers and being able to use these as a sponsored or promotional tool. So people with a large following, particularly with Instagram and TikTok, YouTube is still a pretty popular platform. But for the short form video content, if you do have a younger audience, Instagram, Reels, and Stories, as well as TikTok, and of course YouTube has YouTube Shorts now. So you could essentially make one video and brand it for all of these platforms and basically upload the same content to all platforms if your audience is present on those. And this kind of content you want to be a little bit more loose, lighthearted. The reason TikTok has become such a fast-growing platform is because it's gone back from being less polished content, and people are basically able to quick film and upload straight from their cell phone and mobile devices. And basically they're able to reach an audience way quicker this way. If you're uploading any longer form content, your regular YouTube channel and uploading bigger, more professional content there and sharing from that platform is still best. Of course, YouTube being owned by Google will help with your searchability results if people are Googling your business. But diversifying your content across as many platforms as possible is still always your best bet. The reason videos are always the sure-proof tool in order to reach an audience is that you're able to tell an entertaining and fun story, as well as providing educational information or expanding on points that you can't get across with a single post image. Now, when we talk about influencers, there are people out there with these large followings that if you sell tangible products, you could actually send your products to these people and encourage them to basically interact and use and review your product, which will help with growth and getting your name out there. So that's a very helpful tool to take advantage of. Beyond just posting this same kind of content to your own business pages. So, there are a lot of useful tools out there. There are platforms, if you were to Google just standard, sorry, there's somebody at my door, I'm just going to ignore them. There are tools out there where you can find a list of current influencers and what kind of followers they have out there. and you're able to basically reach out to them directly from those platforms. So a quick Google search of top influencers, in whatever geographic region you're looking to reach out to. Toronto being one of the most popular ones. There are a lot of people there that you could send products to for review and in-person use that they will then brand using their own following, whether it's them talking about it over an Instagram reel, filming a TikTok about them using the product. There's tons of different ways that different influencers have to reach different audiences. So do your research and go out there and see what kind of influencers might be the right fit for you. They are all different, so it's important to do that kind of research beforehand. So we got another couple examples. So this is some more fun and lighthearted stuff that we've uploaded to both TikTok as well as our Instagram Reels and Stories. And these are more, they're lighthearted, they're fun, a little goofy, but they still remain on brand because we're still providing the right kind of content that our followers are always going to be looking for. And it also allows us to kind of get personal. So we have an example here from our director, Shelby. So this is a valuable TikTok we filmed. So again, that one was just touching base on, the valuable use behind doing social media ads. And we're able to just kind of get that valuable information across in a more lighthearted and fun way. Again, Steph, our TikTok captain, I suppose, of the team, she loves doing these TikToks. So this is a behind the scenes look of what it looks like when she's doing filming any kind of video content for our brands. So she's provided a behind the scenes look. So this just kind of gives you an insight of what kind of tools and processes needed in order to create this kind of content before it reaches the followers. So with this quick example, there was a couple key things I just wanted to highlight. On first appearance, it does appear to be more like goofy and not taken super seriously. But the fact of the matter is this kind of content actually provides the opposite. We were able to show a behind the scenes look of kind of makeshift video setup. So Steph's using a lot of products within her home in order to build the right kind of height for her camera. She set up a basic lighting tool in order to make her videos appear a little bit more professional and lighting that room properly. And then as well as, having a little bit more fun and giving a little bit more personality with the coffee and showing her dogs and stuff like that. So people are actually able to better relate to the content because it shows that, Steph is a real person behind the content that we're making. So that's really why this kind of content is pushed and goes viral so quickly and so effectively, is that people are able to put a little bit more personality behind their brand. So again, keeping your ear to the ground, that this expands beyond just understanding who your followers are, but listening to what people are saying about your business. This could be in the comments section on a number of the social media platforms. This could be through your review page on Google itself. Maybe somebody sent you some feedback through an email. Maybe they've tweeted at you or they pinned something on Pinterest. Maybe they've shared a post that you posted on your Facebook or LinkedIn, and they've shared it to kind of help you get the word out there. Understanding like what your audience and your people, meaning your followers, are saying about you is important, whether it be good or bad. This way you're able to make the necessary changes or continue doing something if it does work. So really listening to that feedback is important. Facebook, for instance, you might have noticed a little tool on your business page, if you have one, where it lets your followers know how quickly you respond to messages. This is a great tool to pay attention to, and always, keeping in mind that you're responding to followers and people reaching out to you directly as quickly as possible, because this allows new followers who are visiting your page know that you are a quick responder and they're able to get a direct and a direct and quick response from you, rather than get a more unprofessional, or I should say not unprofessional, but something that's a little bit more quick and professionally tailored. So like a lot of autoresponders will persuade people not to interact with your brand as much, but if you're responding in person as the business manager or director or CEO or whoever, people will take that as a tool that they're able to engage with you directly, and that they're reaching a person on the other end of the screen, which in this digital world now is more and few and far between, it seems. So keeping in touch with your followers and your customers is really important in an online digital space. So when we talk about testing and measuring the content and campaigns, so your regular content that you post to your page, you're actually able to see an overall look on how this content is performing. So you're able to see, which posts are reaching your audience the best, and being able to understand, okay, well, this post did really well, why didn't this one do as well? And maybe following whatever kind of trend you set in place for the post that did really well, and trying to apply that same perspective to the posts that you might need to engage and grow with more, so that you can better tailor that to your audience and your followers. Your campaign analytics, or any kind of things that you're putting a paid promotion behind, you're able to determine, how far your paid message reached. Did it reach the right people? Were people receptive of that? Meaning, if that ad campaign, the main goal was to redirect to a website, did people click on that link, and how quickly and long did they stay at your website? Did they browse around? Did they reach out further from you? And all that kind of data you're able to take into account, and basically come up with a better dynamic for future perspective targeted ads or organic content that you're pushing out to your online brands and your business pages. And it will just help you basically understand and interact with your following better, and staying ahead of the competition as you continue to market your business online.
You mentioned, Brian, there was several different social media analytics tools. Do you have any suggestions on one that our audience would use?
So each platform has like its own built-in analytics system. So for instance, Facebook is probably the most in depth with the information that they give you and being able to easily locate that information. So this might mean coming up with an average engagement rate and seeing how often people are engaging with the posts you're putting out there. You're also able to determine how far your messages and your posts are reaching, and if you need to increase that reach in order to reach more people. It'll also let you know how many people are clicking on certain posts or interacting with them, or sharing that kind of content. You're able to understand your audience better too. So I did touch base earlier in understanding your target audience. You can determine, is your audience more male or female prevalent? What kind of age brackets do they belong to? You can look further if that information is available, meaning some people have their privacy settings locked, so they may not have that information public, but you can get some basic understanding of where your followers are and where they're coming from, and what kind of content they're engaging with most, so that you can tailor that content in order to better direct them in the future. LinkedIn and Instagram, of course, and all social platforms do have some sort of data center where you're able to view all your analytics. Facebook actually made it easier since they also own Instagram. You're able to actually connect both of your business pages if you have both, and you can actually analyze and view all of your analytics from Facebook's end by looking and comparing Facebook's analytics with your Instagram and analytics all in one hub. So rather than going to each individual platform, analyzing all that data individually, Facebook makes it easily digestible to review both Facebook and Instagram at the same time, while the other platforms you will still have to go and view things on an individual basis. So properly planning your content. So I mentioned earlier that beyond using Canva as a design resource, we use a program called Loomly, and there are a lot of other programs out there similar to Loomly. There's Planable. I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head. Hootsuite is another big one you might have heard of. If you were to Google scheduling social media platforms, there's a ton out there, and each have different focuses and obviously price points and the user layouts and how complicated those platforms might be to use. There's a ton out there, and what you're able to actually do is take your content for a month or further, however long in advance you want. You'll be able to actually schedule and curate all your content, whether you want to post multiple posts a day. You can plan and schedule that ahead of time. Maybe you only do a couple posts a week or a couple posts a month. These platforms basically just help you stay organized so that you're not rushing content out with any errors or mistakes. And you're also able to perform these tasks in a team so that your team can review the content and make sure it aligns with your marketing strategy overall, and ensuring that there are no errors for yourself, or in our instance, we're doing this a lot of times for our clients, so we're able to actually review and interact back and forth with our clients. So a lot of those platforms out there are really helpful to help you stay organized and ahead of tasks, and ensuring that anything you have down the pipeline, you're able to kind of plan and stay ahead on. So number 8 here, we're talking about viral content a little bit. So this kind of encompasses everything we've already talked about up until this point. So everything you see on the left-hand side are things we've touched on. Making sure you have the right value to your target audience, making sure that your content reflects that audience as best as possible, using video content where it's applicable and it makes sense. Sometimes their video content could be too much and people don't have as much time to consume video content, which is why we've seen such a big rise in the short form video content, because this content seems to be 60 seconds or less. So people are able to consume bite-sized pieces of information very quickly, and being able to connect and stay connected with different brands that they follow. Maybe they're following other influencers out there, and that's how they've learned about your content. And that could help your brand and business go a little bit more viral that way as well. We talked about responding to feedback. So again, that's making sure that you're staying in touch with people in your comments section and people that are messaging you directly on your business pages, and ensuring that you're responding to them as quickly as possible, which will give your business like a big green light, letting current and prospective clients and followers know that you are somebody that's on the ball and you're quick to respond to people. Testing and measuring, of course, this is tailoring your content to making sure it's reaching that audience as best as possible, which could further help that content go viral, rather than just marketing a message to people on the masses. You're sharing it with people that are most likely to engage with that content, and engagement is going to be the surest way to help make sure that your content is reaching your audience or the masses as quickly and loudly as possible, for lack of a better term, and properly planning this content ahead of time will just help you stay ahead and making sure your message is as tight and tailored to your target audience as possible. And of course, lastly, we mentioned having fun with video. And if you're on Twitter, a company I always like using as a great example because they're huge, Wendy's on Twitter has made like a comedic persona behind their brand, and half the time has nothing to do with what they're talking about, but they go viral for just being kind of goofy and interacting with people in fun and hilarious ways. And in turn, that's made their business skyrocket on a digital platform where other people in their markets aren't really doing that kind of behavior. And of course, staying consistent just means that your posts are always branded and reflect what it is you as a business or personality represents, and making sure the content you're putting behind your business is reflective of that as well. And making sure people, when they follow you, they're following you for a reason. And likely that means it's because of what you've already put out there. So staying consistent with what you're putting out there and not deviating from that too much without a structured plan is what's really important to help ensure that your business continues to grow on the digital platforms. So that's pretty much it for today. I'll hand things back off to Mike, and then we'll probably open things up for some questions and comments.
Thanks, Ryan. That was a very educational piece, a lot of information. I think just to reiterate, one of the biggest pieces, and you put it in your final segment, which was consistency. The one thing that we should touch base on as well is that the algorithms for the social platforms really need you to post, not necessarily on a regular basis, but on a basis of at least 3 posts a week type scenario. And of course, if you can't provide the attention to your social platforms that really is required, it does take in a lot of ways a full-time person. That's where companies like ourselves are available and ready for taking on your strategy. And I think that's it's an important piece. Social media, as the opening video stated, there is billions of people there. I always tell people when I'm talking to them, think about your community and how many people are on social media within your community. How many women are sitting there, before, or even men, I shouldn't even just say women, but men and women before, breakfast in the evenings, just going through their feeds. It's phenomenal. And the amount of times I think I saw in that video, 2.5 hours a day is the average. I mean, that's
just
huge.
on social media.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's amazing. So anyways, let's go to the next slide.
Right. Yeah, you're totally right with consistency. It's like, when you're planning ahead, making sure that you're structuring your content around specific timing and dates and sticking to that plan. And after a couple, maybe a month or a couple months, if you notice that your analytics aren't really changing, that's the time where maybe you reshuffle things a lot. Maybe you start by posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. But if for some reason Wednesday isn't really getting hit with a lot of engagement, maybe you switch up that day to a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and just kind of experiment and have fun with things until you find what works best for your business and your brand. Because all businesses are different, and because they all have different audiences, those audience interact with posts at different times. So it's just kind of learning the algorithm and paying attention to your analytics in order to best understand where your audience is and at what timing. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, your key there is every business is different. If I look at our attendees list, we've got funeral homes to jewelry stores to insurance companies. I mean, all those people, those 3 segments are completely different markets. And the timing of when to get to the potential prospect is completely different, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So pay attention again. I think that's an important piece, and social media it's not a fad. It's here, it's living, it's breathing, just like websites. When I started back in 1998, I heard, websites, the internet, it's all going to go out of business. It won't be around for long. Look at it. It's more prevalent today than ever. It's everywhere. So, So yeah, anyways, all right, let's go on to the next slide. So as we mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to unanswer that phone. Otherwise, you can email me, phone or text, or email Ryan. Ryan is ryan@yoursocialstrategy.com as well. We'd be certainly happy to answer. I'm not going to take a lot of time on this. Let's go to the next slide.
Sure. Oops. There we go.
All right, so what we're doing is we're going to offer a social media update to your platform. So this is on a per platform base where we include a cover and profile image update for $49. It's regular $99, so it's 50% off. So if you've got a Facebook business page as an example, and you haven't updated the cover image or profile image in forever, this is a great opportunity to have one professionally created for you. So if you want to take advantage of this, you can email me, Mike@yoursocialstrategy.com, and say, hey, let's get a social update, and I will get everything coordinated for you. With that in mind, I want to thank everybody for sticking around and watching our webinar today. Ryan, great job. Thank you very much for performing this. You handled the distraction well. If anybody has any questions, next month's webinar is on October the 26th, obviously a Wednesday. I believe we're going to be doing it at a different time, 9 a.m. instead of 2 p.m. And it's going to be topic is 6 social media trends to watch for in 2023. So Ryan will be presenting that one along with myself. But you don't want to miss that one if you're gearing up to your 2023 plans. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.